This night in April was a declaration. The shadow war between Iran and Israel exploded into the open. Now the weapons are flying in plain sight. The code that once targeted power plants is now guiding drones towards cities.
On the other side, a shield of iron and silicon awakens. The Iron Dome. It is now powered by artificial intelligence, tracking hundreds of incoming threats simultaneously.
The explosions are real, but the weapons are different now. Hundreds of drones are launched, a swarm of calculated menace. Each one is a flying bomb designed to overwhelm defenses.
The night sky over Tel Aviv splits open. People scramble for shelter, watching the battle unfold live on their devices. This is a new kind of war, broadcast to the world as it happens.
The launch of hundreds of drones and missiles marked the end of that era. The quiet war of sabotage had become a loud war in the open. The tools developed in the dark, GPS guidance, advanced communications, autonomous systems, were now being used to wage war.
This digital escalation did not replace the old methods, it augmented them. Spies now had new allies, hackers, data analysts, and cyber warfare specialists.
The first major shift came with operations like Stuxnet, the computer worm that targeted Iran's nuclear program. A digital weapon had achieved a physical destructive result.
The rivalry between Iran and Israel stretches back decades, shaped by revolution, ideology, and a profound sense of mutual threat.
The digital domain is a perpetual gray zone where conflict can simmer indefinitely. It is a constant, low-level war where the soldiers are programmers and the ammunition is data.
Then there is the weapon of disinformation deployed with surgical precision through social media. AI-generated images and false reports flooded social media platforms, designed to create confusion.
Consider the power grid of a modern city controlled by digital systems. A successful hack could plunge millions into darkness and cripple a nation's economy. This is not science fiction.
War has always been about technology. The new weapons are not just made of steel, they are made of code. This is the digital battlefield. Its landscape is the vast, interconnected web of data that runs our modern world. Beyond hardware, there's cyberspace. Iran's IRGC cyber units target critical infrastructure and spread disinformation to create chaos. Israel's Unit 8200 focuses on intelligence and surgical sabotage.
Israel uses a multi-layered air defense system, including Iron Dome enhanced with AI.
Iran's arsenal relies on mass production, like the Shahed 136 drone. They launch drones in swarms to overwhelm defenses.
Iran and Israel's technological arsenals reflect their strategies. Israel has a qualitative edge, while Iran focuses on asymmetric warfare. The conflict between nations like Iran and Israel is a testing ground for new methods of warfare. The tactics they pioneer today will inevitably be adopted by other actors around the world tomorrow. We are all living on the unseen front line now, whether we realize it or not. The war is no longer something that happens over there.
Ultimately, this new front line involves all of us. The digital platforms we use are now contested territory.
A civilian sitting in a cafe can be a target, not just of a missile, but of a psychological operation.
It's the entire digital and physical infrastructure of both nations.
The front line is everywhere now.
The modern battlefield has no clear front line. The swarm is a persistent, nagging question mark hanging over the safety of every city.
It challenges the very foundation of Israel's military superiority by creating a threat that's too numerous and too widespread to be completely eliminated. Iran's message is clear. You may have the better shield, but we can build more arrows than you can possibly block.
The ultimate goal isn't just to destroy targets. It's to instill a sense of constant, unavoidable threat. It's to force a nation like Israel into a state of perpetual high alert, to drain its resources, both financial and psychological. The drone swarm is a weapon of attrition.
The swarm is not just a collection of individual drones. It is an intelligent, coordinated entity, a flying network programmed for a single, destructive purpose.
This strategy has been honed and tested across the Middle East. From the battlefields of Yemen, where Houthi rebels use Iranian-designed drones to strike Saudi oil facilities, to the skies over Ukraine, where Russia has deployed thousands of Shaheds against Ukrainian cities. Each conflict has been a laboratory for Iran. We've gathered data, refined tactics, learned how to bypass radar, coordinate flight paths, and time attacks for maximum psychological and physical impact.
This is the logic of the swarm. It's a strategy of mass over class, of quantity over quality. Each individual drone is expendable, The power of the weapon lies in its collective number, a synchronized wave of destruction.
Iran's military doctrine isn't built around winning a head-to-head fight with state-of-the-art tanks and fighter jets. Instead, it's built around the concept of saturation. The idea is simple, yet terrifyingly effective. If you can't build a weapon as sophisticated as your enemies, then build thousands of weapons that are good enough. Launch them all at once. Overwhelm their defenses. Create so many targets that even the most advanced systems can't possibly intercept them all.
For years, facing crippling sanctions and a conventional military gap with its rivals, Iran has invested heavily in a different kind of power. We've perfected the art of asymmetric warfare. This is a strategy for the underdog. It's about turning an opponent's strength into a weakness. It's about finding clever, low-cost ways to challenge a technologically superior force. And the drone, honestly, is our signature weapon.
The desert night is vast and silent, but from hidden bases and remote airfields, a new kind of storm is brewing. It does not start with the roar of jet engines. It begins with the low, persistent buzz of countless small propellers. This is the sound of Iran's drone army awakening. This is an announced attack. The slow speed and loud noise amplify fear. The Shahed 136 is a tool of psychological warfare.
The psychological impact is significant.
The Shahed is perfect for swarm strategy. Cheap, numerous, and a major problem.
They're fired in salvos, taking different routes to the target.
Do not mistake simplicity for stupidity. Guided by a commercial GPS, it's surprisingly accurate. Launched from a simple truck-mounted rack, launch sites are mobile and difficult to find.
It's a disposable, one-way attack drone on a suicide run.
The genius is its cost-effectiveness. Each unit costs around $20,000, a tiny fraction of a cruise missile's cost.
Its simplicity is what makes it so dangerous.
On April 14, 2024, Iran launched a massive aerial assault in response to a suspected Israeli strike in Damascus.
The operation was a masterclass in coordinated, multi-domain attack planning, designed to find a crack in Israel's air defense.
The first wave included Shahed 136 drones launched from Iran to light up radar screens and force the Israeli Air Force to activate its defenses.
Next came cruise missiles, timed to arrive with the drones. Finally, over 120 ballistic missiles were launched.
The goal was to saturate the defensive system's capacity in a direct state-on-state confrontation. On April 14th, the sky over Israel became a massive battlefield where interceptors met incoming threats.
These systems form a nearly impenetrable web, networked together, sharing data in real time.
The radar detects incoming threats and calculates their trajectory.
At the lowest altitude is the Iron Dome, designed for short-range rockets and drones.
David's sling guards the middle airspace, dealing with threats too fast for the Iron Dome. The outermost layer, the Arrow system, intercepts ballistic missiles high above the Earth.
Facing this onslaught was the most advanced integrated air defense system in the world, a shield of many layers. The battle between Swarm and Shield is now an invisible war of code.
Imagine a swarm that can change course to avoid interceptors, or sacrifice drones to clear a path.
Next-gen drones will use onboard AI to communicate and react to defenses in real time.
AI reveals new vulnerabilities. As one side uses AI for defense, the other will use it for offense.
The April 14th attack presented a new challenge, a complex, layered swarm. The AI had to manage the entire battle space.
AI-driven decision-making makes the system effective, conserving interceptors for critical threats through constant rapid triage.
Human operators can't keep up with the data volume. This is a job for AI.
The success of Israel's air defense, with a 99% interception rate, was due to artificial intelligence.
While the skies cleared, a different battle began, the economic one. The Iranian attack exposed an economic imbalance in modern aerial warfare. Iran's attack cost tens of millions, while the defense cost over $1 billion. A $20,000 drone can cost Israel $50,000 to intercept. This creates an unsustainable equation, a strategy of economic attrition. Israel is now racing to develop cheaper defensive systems like high-energy lasers. A laser could theoretically shoot down a drone for a few dollars, upending the economic imbalance. The race is on to make defense affordable again.
The confrontation between Iran and Israel has opened a Pandora's box, and the world is now grappling with the consequences of a future where war is increasingly fought by intelligent, unmanned machines.
But as these systems become more autonomous, the risk of miscalculation grows. What happens when an AI-powered swarm makes a mistake? Who is responsible when a machine makes the decision to kill?
This new arms race presents a profound risk of escalation. Drones and AI lower the barrier to entry for conflict. They make war seem cheaper, cleaner, and more remote, reducing the perceived risks for political leaders. An attack can be launched with fewer personnel and less political cost than sending in soldiers.
The AI that controls these systems will also have to evolve, moving from simple trajectory calculation to predictive behavioral analysis. The defensive AI will have to learn to think like an enemy swarm, anticipating its moves and setting traps for it. The digital battlefield will see a spiraling competition between offensive and defensive AI, a silent, high-speed war of algorithms.
On the defensive side, the race is on to counter this threat. The future of air defense will likely involve a mix of systems. Kinetic interceptors like the Iron Dome will still be needed, but they'll be supplemented by cheaper, directed energy weapons like lasers and high-powered microwaves.
Drones will be able to work together as a team, communicating and collaborating without human intervention. They'll be able to analyze the battlefield in real time, identify and prioritize targets on their own, and adapt their tactics to overcome defenses. This is the concept of autonomous swarming, and it's really the holy grail for military planners. It promises a weapon that is not only numerous and cheap, but also smart and reactive. A weapon that can think.
The game has changed, and the stakes are higher than ever. The next evolution in drone warfare will be driven by artificial intelligence. The Iranian swarm was pre-programmed. The next swarm will be intelligent.
What the world witnessed was a live-fire preview of the future of conflict. The lessons learned by both sides in the skies over Israel are now being studied in military headquarters from Washington to Beijing. The era of the drone swarm has officially arrived, and every nation is now scrambling to either acquire this capability or develop a defense against it.
The events of April 2024 were not an end, they were a beginning. They fired the starting gun on a new and, well, honestly terrifying global arms race, one centered on unmanned and autonomous systems.
This unseen front is where the new rules of engagement are being written, and where the war never stops.
A power outage, a disabled port, a data leak. These events can be blamed on rogue hackers.
This constant digital skirmishing allows both nations to strike at each other without triggering a full-scale military confrontation.
On the other side stands Israel's formidable cyber machine, most famously Unit 8200. They are the digital ghosts engaged in a high-stakes game of cat and mouse in the darkest corners of the internet.
This is a war of keystrokes, where a single vulnerability can be as devastating as a direct missile hit. On one side are Iran's state-sponsored hacking groups, skilled, patient, and persistent cyber operatives.
For Iran and Israel, this digital battlefield is a relentless 24/7 conflict waged by armies of hackers.
A second invisible war is being fought in the silent, humming world of servers.
Power grids, water treatment plants, and transportation networks were once purely physical systems. Now they are run by industrial control systems connected to the internet, making them more efficient but also dangerously exposed. For cyber warriors, these are tempting targets. The hacks on power and water are rehearsals for a potential digital apocalypse.
The computer systems at Iran's Shahid Raja'i port terminal suddenly crashed.
Civilian infrastructure was now fair game.
A sophisticated cyber attack targeted Israel's water supply. Their goal was to dangerously increase the level of chlorine in the water flowing to residential homes. It is the ultimate goal of a cyber attack on a nation's critical infrastructure. Power, water, and transportation are prime targets. These networks are the soft underbelly of a modern society.
To understand the current cyber war between Iran and Israel, we must go back to the beginning, Stuxnet.
Uncovered in 2010, it was a digital guided missile designed to sabotage the Iranian nuclear program. It was a joint United States-Israeli operation.
Stuxnet represents the moment that code crossed the line from espionage to physical destructive force. It targeted the Siemens industrial control systems that managed the centrifuges at the Natanz facility.
Stuxnet secretly took control of the centrifuges, subtly varying their spin speeds, causing them to destroy themselves.
The true brilliance of Stuxnet was its deception. It played back normal readings to the engineers.
The attack set back Iran's nuclear program by years.
The discovery of Stuxnet was a global wake-up call, but it also had an unintended consequence.
Iran, feeling the sting of the attack, massively accelerated its own offensive cyber capabilities, building the cyber army it has today. It opened a Pandora's box of digital weaponry, setting the stage for the escalating cyber conflicts of today.
Beyond attacking physical infrastructure, there is another form of cyber warfare, the attack on the truth. In the digital age, the most contested battlefield is the human mind.
This is the world of disinformation supercharged by artificial intelligence.
The new weapons are AI-powered bot farms and deepfake technologies. During attacks, these networks spread fake images and false reports, aiming to create terror.
The next frontier is deepfake technology. AI-created fake videos or audio. The potential for chaos is immense. This is the new information war, a battle to control the narrative.
Israel is fighting back, using AI tools to detect and dismantle these disinformation networks. Israel's cyber espionage operations are legendary. They monitor communications, track officials, and penetrate networks involved in weapons programs. This provides early warnings, uncovers secret facilities, and maps command structures. The hunt for secrets continues.
A single click can install malware, granting access to networks. Iranian-linked hackers target Israeli tech companies to steal secrets. One group released personal data of Israelis designed to humiliate intelligence.
One common method is spear phishing, a targeted attack. One click is all it takes.
The digital war begins with espionage, a relentless hunt for secrets at the speed of light.
This is the strategic dilemma of the 21st century. As our societies become more dependent on digital infrastructure, they also become more vulnerable to attacks. The cyber strikes between Iran and Israel are pushing boundaries and forcing a global conversation about where the red lines should be drawn. The fear is that it may be too late to stop the slide from a war of code to a war of kinetics.
This blurring of lines creates a dangerous potential for miscalculation. The attack on Israel's water supply is a perfect example. The perpetual cyber conflict between Iran and Israel raises one of the most difficult questions of our time. Where is the red line? But what about a cyber attack? This is the deep, murky gray zone in which modern conflict now resides. Technology enables this modern shadow war. It's about leveraging every tool from satellite surveillance to cyber intrusions. Spies hunt targets in the digital world, blending espionage with the information age.
It is a dangerous equilibrium, a state of perpetual conflict.
The rules are unwritten, but clear. Avoid direct attribution. Israel offers no comment. Iran denies all involvement. This creates a fog, allowing damage without all-out war.
This unseen battlefield stretches across the globe. They are calculated moves in a deadly chess match.
The most enduring conflict is fought furthest from the public eye. This is the shadow war, a war with no declared battles, no front lines, and no official soldiers. The goal is to degrade and demoralize the enemy from within.
At the heart of Israel's shadow war is its legendary intelligence agency, the Mossad. Its name alone evokes images of daring raids, cunning espionage, and ruthless efficiency. While its most famous operations involve dramatic kidnappings and assassinations, the modern Mossad has become a master of the digital domain. It has integrated cyber warfare into every aspect of its covert operations, using code as a silent partner to its human agents. Mossad's cyber units are tasked with the most sensitive missions, penetrating the most secure networks of the Iranian state to enable sabotage, intelligence gathering, and direct action against high-value targets. These are not the disruptive, noisy attacks seen on public infrastructure. Mossad's cyber operations are the digital equivalent of a ghost. They're designed to be stealthy, precise, and utterly untraceable. Their goal isn't to shut down a power grid, but to gain persistent access to the inner sanctum of the Iranian regime. They seek to compromise communication systems of IRGC commanders, steal personal files of nuclear scientists, or map internal security protocols of secret facilities. This deep covert access is the foundation upon which physical operations are built, providing critical intelligence for mission success and operative escape. Consider the level of planning involved. Before a team can sabotage a facility, Mossad's cyber ghosts must first infiltrate its digital security systems. They have to disable cameras, manipulate door locks, and create false sensor readings, all in perfect synchronization with agents on the ground. They might create a digital shadow of a facility, a complete virtual replica based on stolen blueprints and network data, allowing the field team to rehearse the mission dozens of times in virtual reality before ever setting foot in the country. It's a seamless fusion of physical and digital tradecraft, where the keyboard and the silenced pistol are partners in the same deadly enterprise. The Stuxnet operation bore the hallmarks of this Mossad philosophy. It wasn't just a piece of code, it was a complete intelligence and sabotage operation. It required deep human intelligence to understand specific centrifuge models and network configurations at Natanz. It required a physical method, probably a human agent with a USB drive, to bridge the air gap and introduce the worm into the secure network. Stuxnet was the perfect synthesis of old-school and new-school espionage. It showed that Mossad's ghosts could haunt the alleyways of Tehran, but also the very circuits of Iran's most protected secrets.
This allows Iran to extend its reach and strike at its enemies by proxy, maintaining that crucial layer of deniability. An attack on a shipping company in the Red Sea might be launched by Houthi hackers, but the malware they use could have been developed and supplied by the IRGC's cyber command in Tehran, making Iran's digital army a central player in the shadow war across the entire region.
Beyond defense, the IRGC uses its cyber capabilities to support its global network of proxies, such as Hezbollah in Lebanon and the Houthis in Yemen. We provide them with the tools, training, and intelligence needed to conduct their own cyber operations.
This digital cat-and-mouse game is relentless. The IRGC's cyber units are constantly trying to plug the holes that Mossad is trying to create, hardening their defenses after every attack, and learning from their enemies' methods to improve their own offensive capabilities.
One of our primary missions in the Shadow War is counterintelligence. We're in a constant battle against the ghosts of the Mossad. We hunt for digital breadcrumbs left behind by Israeli intruders, conduct forensic analysis of our own compromised systems to understand how they were breached, and run honeypots, decoy systems designed to lure in and trap foreign hackers.
Their mandate is broad. It includes everything from launching disruptive attacks against Israeli infrastructure and conducting disinformation campaigns, to hunting down dissidents and monitoring opposition groups both inside and outside of Iran. They are, in a sense, the digital guardians of the revolution.
The IRGC's cyber warriors are resourceful and ideologically driven. We may not always have access to the most sophisticated zero-day exploits, but we compensate with persistence, patience, and a deep understanding of social engineering. We're masters of the long game, often spending months or even years mapping a target network, waiting for the perfect moment to strike.
It's a sprawling enterprise, comprised of official military units, front companies, and a loose network of patriotic hacker groups, all working towards the same strategic goals: to defend Iran from digital intrusion and to project Iranian power abroad.
More than just a conventional army, the IRGC is a powerful ideological and economic force within Iran, with its own intelligence services and special forces. Its cyber command is a key pillar of its asymmetric warfare doctrine.
Facing the technological might of Israel and its Western allies, Iran has cultivated its own powerful force for the Shadow War. This force is centered within the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or IRGC.
The Shadow War had entered the age of artificial intelligence, where assassins could be machines and the kill order could be executed by a line of code, blurring the line between espionage and science fiction.
The Fakhrizadeh assassination sent a chilling message to Tehran and the world. It demonstrated that Israel had the capability to reach out and eliminate any target, anywhere, with unprecedented technological precision. It also fundamentally changed the nature of personal security for high-value targets. An armored car and a team of bodyguards are no defense against a weapon that can be controlled from another continent and which makes its own targeting decisions.
The AI was crucial. It had to distinguish Fakhrizadeh from his wife, who was sitting next to him in the car, and from his bodyguards. It had to calculate for the car's movement and bullet drop to ensure a kill. This wasn't a simple remote-controlled toy. It was a sophisticated autonomous killing machine.
Second, the technology itself was staggering. The weapon was reportedly a specially modified Belgian-made machine gun, smuggled into Iran in pieces and assembled by a local team. The entire system, the gun, the robotic mount, the camera, the AI targeting software, and the satellite communication link, weighed about a ton.
This operation, widely attributed to Israel, represents the terrifying apex of the Shadow War's technological evolution. It was a convergence of multiple streams of advanced intelligence and technology. First, it required perfect surveillance. Mossad would have needed to know his exact route, his schedule, and the specific car he was in. This level of detail likely came from human assets on the ground and persistent digital surveillance of his communications. They knew his every move, creating a window of opportunity for the attack. It was a masterpiece of intelligence gathering before a single shot was fired.
According to Iranian officials and intelligence reports, the entire operation was conducted without a single human assassin on the ground. It was, well, an assassination by algorithm.
In November 2020, the Shadow War took a shocking and, honestly, futuristic turn. Mohsen Fakhrizadeh, the man considered the father of Iran's nuclear weapons program, was driving in his armored car in Absard, a town east of Tehran. Suddenly, his car was stopped by a remote-controlled machine gun mounted on the back of a parked pickup truck. The gun, guided by satellite and equipped with advanced facial recognition AI, identified Fakhrizadeh, opened fire with pinpoint accuracy, and then the entire apparatus self-destructed. This constant pressure leads to mistakes, delays, and defections. The battle for the atom is not just about breaking centrifuges, it is about breaking the will and confidence of the people who build them. It is the ultimate expression of the Shadow War, a quiet, patient, and devastatingly effective campaign to dismantle a threat from the inside out.
They are forced to work in an environment of extreme paranoia, never knowing if their equipment is faulty, if their colleagues are informants, or if the building they are in might be the next to explode.
These attacks demonstrate a remarkable ability to penetrate the most heavily guarded facilities in Iran. They require deep human intelligence and operatives on the ground capable of planting explosives, a testament to the reach of Israel's intelligence networks. This constant campaign of sabotage creates a powerful psychological effect. It is a war on the minds of the Iranian scientists and engineers.
In July 2020, a mysterious explosion rocked the Natanz nuclear facility, destroying a significant portion of a new advanced centrifuge assembly hall. A year later, in April 2021, another incident at Natanz caused a massive electrical blackout that damaged thousands of centrifuges. While Iran blamed these on Israeli sabotage, Israel remained silent.
These acts of industrial sabotage are incredibly difficult to detect. When a machine breaks down, it is often attributed to poor manufacturing or incompetence, sowing mistrust and paranoia within the Iranian scientific community itself. The physical attacks on nuclear sites have been even more dramatic.
Reports have detailed how Mossad has allegedly targeted Iran's supply chain for years. They have set up fake companies to sell faulty equipment to the Iranian program. They have sabotaged components like power converters and vacuum pumps before they are even shipped to Iran, ensuring they will fail once installed.
This fundamental conflict has fueled a relentless campaign of sabotage and subterfuge, a secret war fought in labs, factories, and underground bunkers. The goal is not just to destroy equipment, but to subtly undermine the entire program, to introduce doubt, and to slow its progress to a crawl through 1,000 tiny cuts. The methods of sabotage are incredibly diverse, showing a high degree of creativity and technical skill. They go far beyond cyber attacks like Stuxnet.
For Iran, the program is a source of national pride and a key strategic deterrent.
For Israel, a nuclear-armed Iran represents an existential threat that must be prevented at all costs.
The core of the decades-long shadow war between Iran and Israel has always revolved around one central issue: Iran's nuclear program. While drones and AI dominate the headlines of the new conflict, the silent, courageous, and often tragic stories of these individuals are the foundation upon which the entire shadow war is built. Technology provides the means, but it is human weakness, conviction, and courage that ultimately decide the outcome of this secret, unending battle.
This human drama is the fuel that keeps the engine of the shadow war running. Defectors provide priceless information about secret programs. Inside sources provide the blueprints needed for a sabotage operation. Local collaborators provide the safe houses and logistical support for a hit team.
The Iranian counterintelligence services, led by the IRGC, are ruthless in their hunt for traitors. Public announcements of arrested spy rings are common, often followed by televised confessions and swift executions, designed to serve as a stark warning to anyone else considering betrayal. It is a world with no second chances.
For the Mossad officer, it is a life of constant tension, living with the daily risk of being caught and executed. For the Iranian who chooses to spy for Israel, the danger is even greater. They are not just risking their own life, but the lives of their entire family.
The recruitment process is a delicate dance of psychology, offering a mixture of financial reward, ideological alignment, or sometimes subtle blackmail. One well-placed human asset can provide more valuable intelligence than 1,000 satellite photos. The price of this work is astronomically high.
A disgruntled officer passed over for promotion, a scientist with family needing expensive medical care abroad, an official with a secret they want to keep hidden. These are the human vulnerabilities that intelligence agencies exploit.
Espionage at its core remains a profoundly human business of trust, betrayal, greed, and ideology. Recruiting assets inside Iran is the holy grail for the Mossad. It is an incredibly difficult and dangerous task. Potential spies are identified through meticulous research, often leveraging digital intelligence.
It might be a highly trained Mossad Katsa or field officer operating under deep cover in a hostile land. It could be an Iranian scientist, a government official, or a military officer who has been persuaded to betray their country.
For all the advanced technology, the AI-powered guns, and the sophisticated cyber weapons, the Shadow War still hinges on its oldest and most unpredictable component, the human element. Behind every successful cyber breach, every act of sabotage, and every assassination is a person. This compression of time fundamentally changes deterrence. The new model is based on the certainty of an immediate response. This creates a hair-trigger environment where a single technical glitch could trigger a catastrophic chain reaction. The window for diplomacy is closing, squeezed shut by technology.
Each side is building systems designed to react faster, creating a dangerous loop where the machine that acts first has the advantage.
The speed of conflict now moves at the speed of a microprocessor.
This removes the human element of hesitation, but also human judgment.
Why wait for the first missile to land when you can strike back the moment the threat is identified? This is the automation of vengeance, and it is making the world a much more dangerous place.
In the past, the path to war had built-in delays, giving diplomats a chance to talk and leaders a moment to reconsider. In this digital fog, tit-for-tat attacks spiral quickly, with each side convinced it's acting proportionally. There's no clear off-ramp, just a cycle of retaliation, driven by ambiguity. The gray zone, meant to contain conflict, can instead become an escalator to all-out war.
The Iran-Israel conflict is fought in the gray zone. Cyber attacks, disinformation, and sabotage, all beneath the threshold of open war. Technology makes this space vast, but also dangerously ambiguous. Attribution is nearly impossible. A blackout could be a hack, a technical glitch, or a false flag. Leaders must decide whether to retaliate with incomplete intelligence, risking escalation or appearing weak. The attack on Israel's water systems shows how each side can interpret the same event as either a signal or an act of war.
A single miscalculation could drag in superpowers or trigger a global crisis. The digital battlefield is borderless. Its ripple effects threaten the entire international order. What starts in the Middle East can become a tidal wave everywhere.
The 2024 attacks sent oil prices soaring and disrupted global travel, proving local conflict has global consequences. Western powers intervened to defend Israel, while Russia and China watched closely, turning the region into a proxy battleground.
Cheap drone swarms and cyber tools empower even small states and non-state actors, shifting the global balance.
The Iran-Israel tech war is a global laboratory. Drones, cyber weapons, and tactics are copied worldwide.
This proliferation multiplies the number of actors who can start conflicts. Nations, terrorists, even individuals. Deterrence is harder, attribution is murky. The Pandora's box is open, and the world is full of new triggers for chaos.
Hacking tools are everywhere. Small groups can now cripple national infrastructure. Stuxnet secrets are public, democratizing destructive malware.
The Shahed 136 drone uses commercial parts. Its blueprint is nearly open source, letting anyone build a drone army.
The most frightening change in warfare is accessibility. Drones and cyber weapons are now cheap and easy to build.
The battlefield may soon be dominated by swarms of machines moving too fast for human intervention. This is the ultimate escalation, a war run by cold, calculating logic.
Once one side deploys autonomous weapons, the other must follow, triggering an arms race for smarter algorithms.
When AI makes a mistake, who's responsible? The programmer, the commander, or the nation?
Soon, drones will hunt targets in defined zones acting on their own.
Fully autonomous weapons are real, tested in the Iran-Israel conflict, blurring the line between operator and algorithm.
The next escalation is removing humans from the loop. Machines now make life-and-death decisions.
Human agents now work with algorithms, making the gray zone more lethal and deniable than ever.
The Shadow War is now high-tech AI-guided assassinations and precision sabotage.
Hackers and AI-driven campaigns make every home a potential target.
The second front is digital cyber attacks and disinformation paralyze societies and erode trust.
The swarm is an economic and psychological weapon bleeding nations dry.
The sky is ruled by autonomous swarms, cheap drones overwhelming even the best defenses.
Power now lies in technology's speed and reach, blurring war and peace, soldier and civilian.
We've seen how the Iran-Israel conflict has become the world's testbed for new warfare, fast, borderless, and relentless. The Pandora's box is open, and every nation now feels compelled to arm itself with these new weapons. The drone swarm that attacks a military base today could be used by a terrorist group to attack an airport tomorrow. This arms race will be defined by its accessibility.
Disinformation campaigns will move beyond clumsy bots to AI-generated avatars. This will create a constant battle against digital attacks that are more personalized and more destructive than anything we have seen before.
The second track will be the race for cyber supremacy, with a focus on integrating AI to create more potent and autonomous weapons. It will be an AI worm, designed to actively hunt for vulnerabilities in a network, learn its environment, and then design a custom attack on the fly to achieve its goal.
Imagine a swarm that can sacrifice one of its own to map radar locations, then change its attack vector to exploit the gap. To counter this, defensive AI will have to become predictive, anticipating the swarm's logic. It will be a war of competing algorithms, fought at machine speed. The immediate future will be dominated by a spiraling dual-track arms race in autonomous drones and offensive cyber weapons.
They are the starting pistol for an arms race that will define global security for the next generation.
The contagion is spreading, and without a concerted international effort, the unstable equilibrium we see in the Middle East today could become the global reality of tomorrow.
Therefore, the conflict serves as a stark warning to the international community. What began as a shadow war between two regional rivals has become a global problem, arming more actors with more power to cause chaos.
The targeting of civilian infrastructure sets a terrifying precedent. The Israeli-Iranian conflict has effectively open-sourced a new model of warfare, and the knowledge cannot be put back in the box.
This playbook is being adopted with alarming speed. The world has watched and learned that you no longer need a large army or a powerful air force to bring a technologically advanced nation to its knees. It is a contagion, infecting the very nature of international security.
The choice of how we use these powerful new tools, whether we allow them to drag us into an automated abyss, or whether we retain meaningful human control, is the most important decision we will make in the 21st century.
The story of Iran and Israel's tech war is ultimately a cautionary tale. It is a future where the weapons we created to protect us could be the very things that lead us into a catastrophic war that no human truly chose.
The window to have this conversation is closing rapidly.
Or do we, as a global community, have the courage to draw a line?
By handing over the final decision to kill to an algorithm, we are attempting to outsource our moral responsibility.
In our relentless pursuit of technological superiority, we risk losing something fundamental, our own agency.
We are left with a final, deeply uncomfortable question that technology cannot answer for us.